Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to see the different methods of charging. So as we know that when a neutral body is given electrons or the electrons are taken from the neutral body now becomes charged body, right? So charged, if we give electrons to the body, neutral body, it becomes negatively charged, and if we take the electrons from the neutral body, it becomes positively charged. So the first method of charging which we are going to discuss in this lecture is charging by friction. So charging by friction, the first method. Let's see, charging by friction. So friction means you have to rub two bodies, okay? You have to rub two bodies. So when you rub two bodies, electron transfer takes place from one body to another, okay? And it depends upon the pair of substances or objects or bodies which we consider in rubbing them against each other, okay? So there is a table over there where you can find number of objects and you have to consider the pairs. So one of the object will be positively charged after rubbing and another would be negatively charged, okay? So for an example, let's see one picture over here. So as you can see, so this is the silk cloth and glass rod, both are neutral, okay? So before rubbing, before rubbing means before friction. So now we take the silk cloth and the glass rod, both are neutral, and we rub them, okay? That is charging by friction. So after rubbing when we separate them both, okay, separate them from each other, and silk cloth becomes negatively charged, whereas the glass rod becomes positively charged, as you can see. So this is the property of the object, property of the substance over here. Silk cloth has the property to accept electrons, whereas glass rod, okay, glass rod will be having the property to lose electrons. So this depends upon the type of substances which we consider in the pairs, okay, before rubbing and after rubbing. So as you can see over here, when we rub two substances, okay, when we rub two substances, one substance will become positively charged and other will become negatively charged. So charging by friction, in charging by friction, two substances both neutral, okay, let's write that also, both neutral, when they are rubbed against each other, when they are rubbed against each other, that is nothing but friction, right? That is nothing but friction. One becomes positively charged, okay, positively charged, and other one becomes negatively charged, I hope that is clear, right? So before friction or before rubbing each other, the substances are neutral, that is number of positive before rubbing, as you can see the silk cloth over here, number of positive would be equal to number of negative, right? And in the rod also, number of positive would be equal to number of negative, that is electrons and protons both are equal in both of them, that is silk cloth and rod, before rubbing or before friction, okay? So when you rub them or when you apply the frictional method of charging, that time after separating them, the silk cloth will have more number of negative charge, so negative would be more as compared to positive, okay? And in case of glass rod, positive would be more as compared to negative. I hope that is clear to you, right? So over here, glass rod gives electrons, okay? So from here what can we conclude? Glass rod loses electrons, and silk gains electrons. Okay, silk gains electrons. So, if one body gains electrons, it becomes negatively charged. If another body loses electrons, then it becomes positively charged. So, this was the method of charging by friction. So, as you can see the question over here, if an object made of substance A is rubbed with an object made of substance B, okay. So, let us take two substances A and B, okay. Then A becomes positively charged and B becomes negatively charged. So, A and B, when they are rubbed together, okay, after rubbing with each other, then when we separate them, A becomes positively charged and B becomes negatively charged, as you can see. If however an object made of substance A, okay, same object made of same substance A is rubbed against an object made of substance C, okay, substance C, A becomes negatively charged. So, if we rub A and C together and after we separate them, A becomes negative and C becomes positive, as you can see, okay. So, of course, because if we rub them, it is charging by friction, right? One has to get opposite charge of the other. That is, if A and B are rubbed with each other, A becomes positive and B becomes negative. So, similarly, A and C, when they are rubbed, A will become negative and C will become positive. So, what will happen if an object made of substance B is rubbed against an object made of substance C? So, now if B and C are rubbed with each other, so what will happen to them? So, as you can see, previously when A and B were rubbed with each other, A became positive, B became negative. Now, A and C rubbed with each other, A became negative, C became positive. So, whatever the property was there when it was rubbed with B, it became positive. Now, the property got reversed and it became negative. So, over here B must also become reversed, that is, B's property must also get reversed. So, previously B was rubbed and B became negative. Now, over here after separation, B will become positive and C will become negative. I hope that is clear to you, right? Okay. As I have already mentioned, it depends on the pair of substances which we rub with each other, right? So, that was all about methods of charging, part 1, that is charging by friction. I hope you understood. Thank you.